Hey everybody, this is Kaous with Kaous Games, and today I want to give y'all my impressions on Dark Arisen, Dragon's Dogma. Now, I played through it, and it's first thing I'm gonna say about it is it's not the longest. There's a way you can get lost. Like it doesn't hold your hand. Like the map marker will tell you where to go, but you kind of have to go find stuff. First thing you got to know about Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen is it's definitely not for low level characters. Like if you play Dragon's Dogma and didn't get into like the high, the mid 100s, like 130s. I think I was 132 when I started it. Don't even bother jumping into it because you will get your ass beat badly. Because if you were one of those people complaining about, oh well, Dragon's Dogma is too easy once you get too high a level. Because I know I was. Then they're like, okay, I could see Capcom over there, like, okay, all right, that's what you guys want to do? Here, boom, and just threw it at your face. They got a whole bunch of new ridiculous enemies. Like, for example, I've run into some crazy crap. They had some giant ghost warrior with a shield. He wasn't so bad. I mean, he was slow. He was clunky. They had a super evil eye. Them, like the little, they're pretty big still, like the ones you find in what's it place called? The Everfall. Imagine one of those fuckers on steroids. And that's what you have. That Joker was like huge. It took a while to kill. I got like 90,000 XP for killing it. It was ridiculous, dude. They have, they already had levels of wolves, right? They had, your basic wolves, then they had your white dire wolves, then they had your hellhounds. They added a super steroided version. They're even bigger. It's like a giant wolf, like a super giant wolf. I don't know what they're called. I have to look at the bestiary at some point, but there's a pack of those. It's in about 4 or 5 match you, and they all have like 6 bars of health. I remember one time I'm like walking through the maze because Bitter Black Isle is a giant maze, right? And you gonna like paths close off. It's dark sometimes, and you just get a little confused what's going on. And I go into this room. Speaking of another thing, they have these giant caged cyclopses, right? And cyclopses are big by themselves. Well, again, imagine the Cyclops on steroids. This Joker's like several staircases high. They're both chained up. There's 2 of them. They're chained up. And, okay, like I'm fighting some ghost warriors who are elevated. They have more health now, and they don't die in one hit. You got to actually work on them a little bit like you did when you were low level. And these Jokers break out the chains. So I got these 2 super giant Cyclops coming after me, right? And all of a sudden, these big ass wolf things come out of nowhere too. So I'm dealing with all these fuckers. I was trying to fight them all, but I ended up having to get out of there because they're whooping my ass. So you run into stuff like that. Now for the length, it's a judgment call. Do you want to spend $40 on it? I did. I don't regret it because, even after you beat the main campaign, which is awesome, by the way, like I said, it's not on if you know what you're doing, and you're pretty high level, you kind of know the Dragon's Dogma system a little bit, you're going to navigate it pretty quick. About like half a day, you'll get through the maze. But what they did, what I like, one of the complaints that they actually seem to have addressed a little bit, not as much as I would like, is that they actually added the bitter black gear that you had to uncurse. And it actually gives you massive stat increases in some ways. Like I got this ring that increases your stamina quite a bit. And got this other ring from my pawn who she'll have, she's a strider. I have her set as a strider, but she has an ability, the mighty bend ability. Well, this ring enhances that and like upgrades it to a thing called the terrible bend. So it's, it enhances it. So they did some things that made gear, at least some of the gear, at least a little bit more useful. So you actually have a reason to wear some of the gear. You know, not just for aesthetics, like some, you know, and also they added, of course, new enhanced gear as is. Like you can uncurse it, like, and you have new stuff. Everything's enhanced on the island, and the final boss is 10 times harder than the dragon. The Dark Arisen, yeah, you fight him, and he is not only is he big, he's strong and he's fast. It took me a while to kill him, and he was beating my ass for a little while too. He can be a little tricky. So like I said, the replay value is crazy. A whole bunch of new gear. The gear means something sometimes. They added some changes to the regular game. If you haven't picked up Dragon's Dogma yet, like I said, but that Dark Arisen actual campaign is not the longest. If you're high enough level, you'll just power through it. You'll die because I mean, you'll face death. You'll have to get ready to use some wake stones. I did because that's something I really didn't have to do in the main game because these enemies they're tricky. Like I was fighting this thing called Undead Dragon one time, and he had it was a gimmick to it because he had like a new super sorcerer, like undead sorcerer, who was like in possessing it and then bringing it back to life and doing all that kind of stuff. So you had to kill the undead sorcerer, who was the power source for the undead dragon, which was one of the bosses on the way down to get to the Dark Arisen. And this Joker cast this tornado spell. I caught myself trying to run away from it, and I got sucked in, and I just started getting juggled. I was dead for at least 20 seconds, and I'm just getting bounced up in the air by this tornado. And I'm just like really pissed off. I'm just looking like, okay, I'm dead. I'm dead. Let me down. I'm dead. And so, you know, then I had to use a wake stone several times in that DLC. So make sure you have some of those on hand because it's not easy by any means, especially if you play on the harder modes. A lot of people I've heard already say if they were under a certain level, if they were under 100, they said, I got one hit it. I tried to go in there at level 96, 95, and it just wasn't going down. They will destroy you if you're not extremely high levels. They tell you it's meant for seasoned Arisens. It's meant for seasoned Arisens. You really have had to have gotten that game in quite a bit before going in here, or else you're going to be in trouble. So for those who haven't played the game yet, don't go there. Don't go to the Bitter Black Isle for a long time because you're not going to have a fun time. You're going to die quite a bit. And then there was another annoyance. Death. The Grim Reaper comes out of nowhere. You know, I remember one time I'm fighting an enhanced version of a cockatrice or whatever that thing is. And I'm in the midst of the battle, and this Joker comes out of nowhere. He just pops out. That's what he does. He pops out at random times, and he kills he'll put your pawns to sleep. And he'll slice them one time. If you're in the radius of that slice with that Reaper, you're dead. That's it. I mean, so basically, all you really can do is try to chip away at him a little bit. I wouldn't recommend it. I recommend just high talent out of there every time you see him coming because he'll kill you in one hit. I don't care how high leveled you are or what gear you have. You will die in one hit. That's just the gimmick of it. You want to run away when you see him. I remember one time this fool came in when I was in the darkest part of the sewer, right? And I didn't have a torch because you're in the sewer, so I was rolling around and got my torch, my lantern wet. I couldn't see a thing, and the Grim Reaper dude had like killed all my pawns, and I was by myself. And I tried to backtrack and find my way out. The door had disappeared. And that's what this thing does. Like there was no way back. It was crazy. So, I mean, if you're a fan of Dragon's Dogma, you'll want to pick this up now if you haven't already. But if you're not, I mean, it's good to pick up. If you haven't played Dragon's Dogma, they give you the opportunity to do it now. It's worth it. It's still only 49. It's still pretty cheap. It's that deflated price. Pick the game up. It's awesome. If you like RPGs, It gives a good reason to come back, get your gear back up. New styles. Edit your pawn in different ways. Got better gear than your average. What you were best you were working when you killed the Dragon, and you get your abysmal robe. I'm still working on my pawn. I got my Arisen dude some new gear from the Bitter Black Guy, but I'm trying to get my pawn some new gear because it's like actually has some gear now that's elevated past the defensive capabilities of the abysmal robe. So I'm trying to do that now. Gotta get some things Dragon Forge, but I enjoyed it, man. It was definitely satisfying to me. They added some new cool enemies. It brought the challenge back that had been missing since I first started playing the game at very, very low levels. And I really forgot what it was like to be in danger in that game. They brought it back. So Dark Arisen definitely has my seal of approval. Until next time, it's been Kaous with Kaous Games. Gamers Game On.